Welcome to MathLink, where we're going to connect the dots. I am Mr. C, and in this unit, we're going to look at the Cartesian coordinate system, or some of you may know it as the rectangular coordinate system. So we're going to get started on just the basic parts of this particular system. The Cartesian coordinate system, or the rectangular coordinate system, is an intersection of a horizontal and a vertical line drawn on a graph paper form the Cartesian coordinate system. So if you want to do this and pause and get a piece of paper and draw a horizontal line and also draw a vertical line. Now the horizontal line is called the x-axis, and we'll talk about it in a minute. And the vertical line is called the y-axis. Normally I like to put the word y-axis on the top and then the horizontal axis next to the horizontal line. Now they're going to intersect. The point of intersection is called the origin. And with those origin, we actually have something called four quadrants. And we're going to look at that in a second. So in this particular slide, we see here we have an x-axis, and notice how they label the x-axis as the horizontal line and the vertical axis as the y-axis. With that, it gives us four coordinates. In this case, we call this coordinate 1, and coordinate 1 is right here, 2, 3, and 4. In this case, it goes counterclockwise for our quadrants, our quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now, in quadrant 1, when we talk about these x and y axis, notice the numbering. We start in the origin is in red right here. And where the origin is at, it has a value 0, 0. So it's not just 0, it's 0, 0, because we have something called ordered pairs. So let's look at what we have here. And an ordered pair is x and y. You write it just like this. X coming from the x-axis first, and then the y-axis. So from our origin, I'm going to put a circle in red. We also have on the right side of the origin, which is in red, on the x-axis, we have positive numbers, positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're always positive. And on the left side, they are negative on the x-axis, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, again, similar on the y-axis. When you go up, they're positive, and when you go down, is negative. If you don't have graph paper, it's good just to space out them evenly and make sure as much as possible and write those numbers down. Sometime you can go by 2s or you go by 3s or 4s. So you can say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 on the x-axis, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, especially if you got larger numbers and you don't want to just say 1, 2, 3. So, but be consistent on your x-axis, and then your y-axis can go by a different count, but you need to be consistent on the positive going up and the negative going down. So looking at this, let's look at quadrant 1. For quadrant 1, we have something, if you look up here, it says plus plus. Now that plus plus means this. It means your x value is positive and your y value is positive. So in quadrant 1, your x and y value are positive because they're both are coming from a positive value. You first do your x, then you do your y. For quadrant 2, your x value is negative. And I'm going to go back to here. Your x value is negative. I'm going to go. And your y value is positive. For quadrant 3, your x value is negative and your y value is negative. And for quadrant 4, your x is positive, y is negative. So those are things you want to know by heart and get to know how to do this. So again, what you want to do is know how to plot points. So let me give an example, and then I'm going to show you some more examples on the next slide. So let's say we want to look at this point here. We know that's in quadrant 1 and both X and Y is positive. So how do you write that? You look and start at the origin and you go how many places over? 2. So this is 2 for the X value. And then how many places did we go up? We went up 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to label this A. And so that point is A is 2, 3. Now, let's do this. Let me give you a point. Let's say we want to do -4, -4, -3, and we call that point B. Now remember, it is X, Y, and we label it point B. So we're going to find this on our Cartesian coordinate system. Always start at the origin, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, and then down 3, because we're not finished, 1, 2, 3. And so this point here, label it B, and that's how you label it. That what tells us that is -4, -3. Okay, let's do another one. Do it in green. Let's do this one right here. What would this point be in green? Who can tell me that? Right, it's at the origin, and the origin, when you do it in green, is 0, 0. That will be the origin. Didn't go up or didn't go down. It's 0, 0. That's our origin. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. A little bit more to see if you're getting these, how to plot points and how to write it. And I could label origin C, but for right now, just leave it green. I'm going to use a different color for this one. Let's do this point right here. Now that point's unique because that point is not in quadrant 1 or is not even in quadrant 2. It's in between. It's actually on the y-axis. Special name for that is a y-intercept. Now I am going to label that as C. So let's see what that would be. Where's it located? So always start at the origin. And did we go anywhere on the x-axis? We didn't go right or left. We just stuck where we at. So for up here, I'm going to say it's 0 for the x value. But what do you think the y value would be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how do you write this? And we write down C. That point would be 0, 6. You didn't go anywhere on the x-axis, but you went up on the y-axis. And that's how you write that point. And that point is not in a quadrant. It's actually on the y-axis. That's the y-intercept. We'll call that the y-intercept. Let's do this one. This other blue one right here. What do you think? How will you write that coordinate? I'm going to label it D. Order pair. What's the order pair for this one? So first start with the x. Again, the x is the first. Start at the origin. And did we go anywhere on the x-axis? Actually, we did. We went 1, 2, 3, 4. We went to a -4 direction. And then did we go up or down anywhere? A lot of people call it rise or run. Did we go any up or down? No, we didn't. We just stopped there. So the y value would be 0. And so that point D is -4, 0. And that has a special name too. And that is called the x-intercept. So those x and y intercepts are in blue. The other points that are red are in quadrants, and then the green one is the origin. Our next slide will show some points, and you can look at that and pause and see how we got those points. These are the following points of these coordinates. And notice we label A, B, C, D, all the way up to H, and it shows you where they're located at. Well, we're going to stop there. And if you want to continue on our next slides and next videos to look at more about how to graph, how to find y-intercepts, and so forth, please be familiar to look at those next particular units that we're going to discuss. If you have any questions on this particular unit, please feel free to look back at the video or look at some of our resources that we have on our MathLink website. Again, thank you for watching this video.